The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for a particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature and not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs.
For millions of Americans who retire every year, the task of ensuring that your money is working hard enough to provide you with a consistent paycheck can make the job of working for that paycheck seem easy. Retirement doesn't signal the end of financial worry. In fact, for the majority of retirees, it's just the beginning. The assets you have built must be able to provide you and your family with financial security for all the years to come. That's why you need a game plan for retirement, making sure you have a plan and that your money is working hard to provide you with an income you can depend on. This is your game plan for retirement.
And welcome into your game plan for retirement. This is the show where we challenge Wall Street to remove some of the doubt and worry and provide strategies to replace that with peace of mind and confidence for your retirement and financial future. We discuss addressing the needs and concerns of a new generation of retirees and the challenges presented by our new economy. And we always check in with the Poconos and Allentown's local income allocation and retirement advisor, Ralph Grauso from ASC Financial Group for a retirement built to last. Ralph, welcome back to your game plan for retirement.
As always, good to be here, excited to be here. You know, Peter, these times that we spend on the air here in the Pocono area and the Lehigh Valley, we find that so many times people are making financial decisions based on missing pieces of information, based on misconceptions, based on myths, based on sales hype. And honestly, there needs to be a voice that says, hey, listen, you need all the information. You know, there's no perfect plan out there. There's no perfect retirement plan out there. But at the end of the day, there are strategies that we can employ to give us a sound financial retirement plan. And so I look forward to the next half hour with you, Peter.
Well, thank you, Ralph. We always appreciate the time that you spend with us because you do give us the knowledge, the insight on how to have a more sound financial plan moving forward. And I would like to remind the folks listening, as we get started here in the program, that you do make your time available to the listeners across Allentown and the Poconos as a resource for them to check personally on their own financial situation. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've had questions that have concerned you, that have been rattling around in your mind, or if you would like to take Ralph Grauso and the team from ASC Financial Group up on the outstanding offer that they give for a complimentary financial review and retirement evaluation, all you have to do is pick up the phone, and you might want to jot this number down as we begin the program. Give them a call at 800-939-8633. Again, that number, 800-939-8633, at any time to ask them a couple questions or address some financial concerns that you may have. 800-939-8633. And Ralph, you did mention that most every situation is a little different, but in the financial world, are there any standards or rules that hold true most of the time, or things that we should understand that apply to most every situation?
It's all about planning. I mean, I think that is the key, is to have some type of direction, some type of plan that makes sense, that's flexible, that can change as situations change, but that will give the retiree or the pre-retiree a sense of security, a sense of peace of mind, that knowing that, hey, we've got a plan, and if we follow these steps, we're going to ensure that we have financial independence, that we're going to have security in retirement. Because at the end of the day, that's what brings us peace of mind.
Well, I think that the rules of finance are not necessarily as always universal as, say, the rules of physics and the laws of motion and what goes up must come down. In fact, Wall Street and the proponents of the market seem to believe the exact opposite of that, with the sayings, don't worry, it's just a paper loss, or the market always comes back or always goes up over time. It's almost like they believe that the market defies gravity and can move in the opposite direction and will never come down in the future, Ralph.
Well, you know, there's a myth out there, and it is a myth, math that basically says, ride it up, ride it down. The market will go up, the market will go down. Stay in, you're in for the long haul, buy more when it's down. And basically, what's happening here is not true. Let's say I have $100,000 and the market goes down and I lose half of that money. How much do I have? I would have $50,000.
Right.
And yet Wall Street will tell us, well, stay in, you're in for the long haul, it'll come back up. And let's say it goes back up 50%. Well, I don't really have 100,000, I have 75,000 because 50% of 50 is 25,000. So how do I get back to my original investment? I would have to double my loss. I would basically have to earn 100% just to get even. So that saying out there that it's just a paper loss is just not true. It is a real loss. And that's why so many people who lost significant money during the crash of '08, it took a long, long time to get back to even. And Peter, we feel here at ASC Financial Group that getting back to even isn't good enough because of the purchasing power of that dollar. We're losing to inflation. And so we want to employ strategies, Peter, that you either go forward or maybe sideways, but you never go back. I really like the rules of investing put forth by Warren Buffett, where he basically says there are two rules for investing. Rule number one, never lose money. Rule number two, always follow rule number one. And I kind of believe in that, especially when we're in retirement. We do not want to be in a position where we can have a significant loss, a significant drawdown of our assets. And every dollar counts. Every dollar counts. And we may have a very conservative approach. We're not stockbrokers. We don't believe in unnecessary risk. Sure, you're going to have to take some risks out there, but we want to minimize those risks. We want to put those risks in context to what our risk tolerance is. So many people come in to see us and their feelings do not match their behavior. They're taking risk that they may not even be aware of, or they're taking unnecessary risk when there are other options, safe options out there, whereby they can grow their money, have income, and be able to transfer that money to their loved ones. And I would just encourage our listeners out there, you've been hearing us now over the past several months, and, you've been thinking about maybe giving us a call, and pick up that phone and give us a call. Those that have in the past were very appreciative of the fact of when they did call, there's no pressure. We're not looking to jam something down someone's throat here, but rather be a resource, an educational resource to them that they can get some information that's of substance so that they can make a sound decision that's right for them. Pick up that phone at 800-939-8633. And we'd be more than happy to speak with them, to offer our 3-step review and see if we can help them in achieving financial security and independence in retirement.
And folks, again, I think this is a valuable opportunity. Take advantage of the time that Ralph Grauso, Josiah Grauso, and the team from ASC Financial Group offer to you to find out the information that will help you build a retirement that is built to last. They do make their time available to you on a complimentary, no-cost, no-obligation basis. The number to call them, 800-939-8633 for a complimentary, no-cost, no-obligation financial review. 800-939-8633. Ralph, you mentioned a couple things in there that I think are important. A, that a lot of people don't really realize or understand the amount of risk they are taking within their investments and with their money. And the approach that you have there, I believe, is a little different. I don't think that everybody receives the type of ongoing guidance, support, and ongoing monitoring of their plan moving forward with their financial advisor. Why is it important that people understand their plan and the amount of risk that they have and what the effects could be on their money, and then continue to monitor that on an ongoing basis?
It's their money. It's their retirement. They need to own their own retirement. They need to take control. There's so many things in the world today that we really can't control. But when it comes to our finances, we can control how our money works. We can control the way we receive income. And it all starts with getting information. It all starts with looking at strategies that make sense in a very volatile, uncertain economy, a very volatile, uncertain market. There are strategies out there that folks can look at where they can keep their money absolutely safe and secure, but at the same time get a reasonable rate of return. At the same time, they can convert this asset into an income-producing asset that will provide them with sustainable, predictable, guaranteed income for the rest of their lives. Because, a lot of times, folks will come in to see us and, as you said, they're not aware of the type of risks they're taking. We put them through what we call a stress test, whereby we will take their current positions, we'll take a look at how it performed during the bad years. Don't tell me how it did in the good years. Everybody did good. But how did it do in 08, 09? How did it do in 01 and 02? It's those years that we want to key in on to see, what is our potential loss? What can we lose here? So many people, when they come in and see that, realize that they are taking risk unnecessarily. So, we want to encourage those folks to reach out and get that information, get that stress test done on their portfolio so that they understand the risks that they're taking and just don't leave it up to chance. Something I call a hope and a prayer. I hope it goes up. I pray it goes up. That's no way to live. We've got to know that there are strategies employed that no matter what happens, our money's going to be protected. And our money's going to be in a strategy that makes us defensive when times are bad, but opportunistic when times are good. And that's available. All they've got to do is just pick up the phone, give us a call at 800-939-8633 to discuss their financial situation.
Again, an excellent opportunity for you to understand your money, what your money is doing to help you achieve the financial goals that are important to you, and what could potentially get in the way of you achieving those financial goals through that financial stress test. Again, the number to take Ralph Grauso and the team from ASC Financial Group up on that offer, 800-939-8633. Ralph, in the medical world, the stress test kind of indicates what type of physical health we're in and what's the likelihood or chances that we might have a heart attack at some point in time, kind of pushing us to the edge. Is that what you're doing with people's portfolio, kind of revealing the potential weaknesses by running it through different scenarios that could potentially jeopardize the safety and health of their finances?
If I go to a doctor and he can't treat me, what does he basically do? He refers me to a specialist. Yep. And, in the financial arena, that just doesn't happen. At ASC Financial Group, we only work with folks that are retired or nearing retirement. I am a certified senior advisor as well as a registered investment advisor. And our whole focus is on folks that are retired already or they are nearing retirement, helping them get into and through retirement. And as I said before, with a plan that they own, a plan that they can control and give them peace of mind, I want to get that second opinion. Am I on the right track? We have folks that come in to see us and they're doing fine. And we'll tell them, look, we see a couple of tweaks we can do here or there, but by and large, you're on the path to success. For most folks, just knowing and getting a second opinion will give you that peace of mind to make sure that they're on the right path.
In either circumstance, do you believe this is of benefit, whether it is the positive reinforcement that you are doing things correctly, or on the other end of the spectrum, the fact that there are many different items or potential red flags that are standing in the way of you and a comfortable retirement?
Well, sure. Wouldn't you want to know that, the plan I have is working for me and the plan that I have now makes sense in light of the changing economy? Sure, positive reinforcement is just as good as exposure to the fact that, well, you know what, there's some huge red flags here that we need to address. And so I think it cuts both ways. And that's why, if you feel right now that you're fine in the direction you're going to, great, but get a second opinion. It can't hurt. And at best, what you're going to find out is that you're confirmed in what you're doing. At worst, we might have to take a look at this and make some adjustments here along the way.
Well, folks, again, to have that understanding, because informed people do make better decisions, take Ralph Grauso and the team from ASC Financial Group up on this valuable opportunity for a complimentary, no-cost, no obligation financial and retirement review. 800-939-8633. Again, that number, 800-939-8633. Ralph, we've been talking about some of the rules of finance as well as some of the laws of math and science, and it is pretty apparent that some of the rules of finance are not as concrete and absolute as the rules of physics and motion, but I think that we can draw a bit of a parallel with some of them, that maybe they can illustrate some of the concepts that we need to understand about having a secure financial future, or at least some of the opportunities that are available to us. Newton's law of gravity was one that we covered. How about the first law of motion? That objects in motion tend to stay in motion. Objects at rest tend to stay at rest. I can think of a couple examples of how this works, and I know in my own personal situation, in 2008, I had a lot of trouble figuring out when I needed to pull money out of the market, and I was already in motion. I was already invested in the market. Figuring out how and when to stop was difficult. And then once my money was out and I was at rest, figuring out how and when to get reinvested was again a challenge. Do you find that that is typically the case, that people don't know when to start or stop with their investments in the market and taking that risk?
People make decisions many times concerning when I should be in or when I should be out based on emotion. And that could be a very dangerous thing. Many people got out of the market back in '08, in May of '09 when it hit rock bottom, and then got back in 2012 when it was up. Obviously, market investing can be kind of tricky, but you're supposed to buy low and sell high, not buy high and sell low. So making these decisions as to when to get in and when to get out, when you base it on feelings, when you base it on emotion, when you base it on fear, this is just going to lead to disaster. Many of my clients have demonstrated year in and year out the satisfaction of knowing that, you know what, I've got a plan that no matter what happens, if the market goes up, I'm going to benefit. If the market goes down, I'm going to benefit. So they're not on this yo-yo or sleepless nights of worrying about what their money is going to be worth in the future. They've got a plan of predictability. They've got a plan of safety. This is available to everyone who is approaching retirement or in retirement. And, we can discuss some of these strategies that have helped hundreds and hundreds of retirees that we have met with achieve peace of mind and security during retirement.
There's so much that's left up to chance that is uncertain, that we can have doubt and worry over when our assets are at risk in the market, because the market continues to prove that it's unpredictable, that it's volatile, that it's fickle. And if our lifestyle and our income is dependent on that, we are not just leaving our money at risk, Ralph. We are leaving our life and our lifestyle at risk by being invested, aren't we?
It's a sad truth, but it does have a compounding effect. As you said, that law of motion. The number one fear of all people is running out of money. What is your plan to ensure that no matter what happens, I will never run out of money? That is an achievable objective that we can set up for folks to make sure that they will never run out of money no matter what happens, and have a predictable, sustainable income that increases with inflation. People need to understand there are other options out there than just gambling in the Wall Street casinos.
Well, that is what having a retirement built to last is all about, ladies and gentlemen. And the number one fear of retirees is running out of money. In other words, not having that retirement built to last. But there are options. There are strategies that are available that can help you reduce or eliminate the potential for running out of money and increase your stability and predictability throughout retirement of maintaining your ability to produce income. And if you'd like to find out a little bit more about those, pick up the phone and give Ralph Grauso and his team from ASC Financial Group a call for a retirement built to last and that complimentary financial review and retirement evaluation. 800-939-8633, the number to call. That's 800-939-8633. Ralph, another thing that comes to mind when I think about objects in motion motions tending to stay in motion and objects at rest tending to stay at rest. I've heard from a couple people who reached retirement age or were getting near to retirement age and all of a sudden wanted to do something completely different and invest in real estate. And it struck me that this was something that if somebody has experience in it and maybe has several different rental properties, it might be something that is a good component of a retirement plan. But if somebody has never done it before and wanting to jump into it in retirement, it might be something that's a little dangerous for us to have retirement adventures in real estate.
You never want to venture into things unknown when you're in retirement. There's so many things that can go wrong. Totally agree with that. If you're understanding how real estate works, if you've been an investor in real estate all along, to get to retirement, using that strategy in retirement is fine. But if this is something you've never done, why would you start that? Why would you start to go into something that is uncertain and that you really don't have an area of expertise, particularly when it comes to your retirement money? So for those that might be thinking about something like that, I would give a lot of caution to.
Well, it just struck me as interesting as we were talking about that, and I thought of it. It also reminds me of the don't put all your eggs in one basket general rule about diversity. I think that if you have multiple real estate holdings, 20 or 30 homes, and something goes wrong with one, you'll probably be okay. But if you only have one or two and something goes wrong with a bad tenant or unable to rent, then that can really upset your future outlook. So again, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Another one of those common rules of finance. And again, we are comparing some of the rules of finance to the laws of math and science, which they may not be quite as universal, but I think it does illustrate and make some good comparisons here. Another rule of motion, Ralph, is that in order to have forward momentum and acceleration, we must have applied force. However, in order to grow our money, we also need some type of applied force and positive interest. But money right now that is sitting in the bank isn't getting that force and that positive interest. There are some dangers in safety right now with lazy money. And I know that's something that you have addressed both in person with folks who have concerns about their money not growing enough and some of the potential solutions here on the program. Can you talk to us again about the dangers of safety and lazy money?
I recently wrote an article for the Pocono Record just on that subject of lazy money. This is basically money that's sitting maybe in a money market account or a bank CD. The problem we have there, although that money might be safe, although that money might have a degree of liquidity, it's not keeping pace with inflation. And so we're really losing the purchasing power of that money. By holding it there for a short period, nothing wrong with that. But if you're holding money in money markets and CDs for a long term, and you start taking into consideration inflation and taxes, which is probably the biggest expense on our money that we face, we got to analyze that and take a look and see, can we put our money at work for us without giving up the safety of that money? And we do that for many, many folks that come in to see us. Take that lazy money, put it to work, but keep it safe, keep it secure.
Well, if you have concerns that your money is not giving you positive momentum, is not working hard enough for you, and that you've got excess money that could be losing purchasing power, address that concern of losing money safely and lazy money. Talk with Ralph Grauso and the team from ASC Financial Group about potential solutions. A lot of people have a lot of money sitting, earning next to nothing in low interest bearing accounts at the bank, checking accounts, savings accounts, money market, even CDs right now are earning next to nothing, and inflation is actually causing you to lose purchasing power. Address that concern with the team from ASC Financial Group by calling 800-939-8633. That's 800-939-8633. Ralph, another big aspect in retirement planning, I think this probably applies to the vast majority of people listening out there, is tax-deferred accounts. I know a lot of people out there are saving and investing in tax-deferred accounts. However, the third law of motion states that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. What do we need to know about deferring, delaying, and postponing our taxes today and the effects that it might have on us into the future?
Most folks employ the strategy of tax deferral through retirement accounts such as IRAs and 401ks. And The principle behind it is that let's take a tax deduction now, let our money grow free of taxes, tax deferred, not tax free, tax deferred, that we're just not paying the tax this year, but we're deferring it at a later time. And, what we have to take a look at when it comes to taxes, who's to say that taxes may not be higher in the future? Taxes might be higher, so I might, in essence, be deferring in a lower bracket only to pay out in a higher bracket. And that's why I would encourage our listeners to look at alternate, sources of accumulating wealth other than tax deferral. And one of the best ways is through what's called a Roth IRA, where that money will be growing not tax deferred, but tax free. Life insurance, today's insurance policies, another great vehicle from a tax standpoint where I can accumulate money tax free, draw out money tax free, and have a tax free death benefit. So we really need to look at, it may sound great deferring, but it could also be a tax explosion at the end. That part of it needs to be looked at very closely.
Being a parent of a young child, deferring and delaying paying taxes always struck me as similar to playing a game against a 5 or a 6-year-old. The rules could change at any time in their favor to make sure that they win. And playing that game with the government almost is similar. They obviously have the ability to change the rules at any time. They have proven that they can change what taxes rates are, and they have already last year changed some of our options on how and when we can claim and collect Social Security. So the rules could change at any point in time. It's important for you to understand what the full implications of saving in those tax-deferred accounts are, ladies and gentlemen, because every action does have an equal and opposite reaction, and in the case of deferring and delaying paying taxes, that reaction could, in fact, be greater into the future if they choose to or require us to increase the amount of taxes that we pay. These are all just different aspects of your game plan for retirement. We've been talking with Ralph Grauso, the president of ASC Financial Group, about how to have a retirement built to last. Through the program, we have learned that Ralph Grauso and his team want you and all the listeners to achieve financial success. They feel that this will only be accomplished by having an understanding of the financial forces that are helping push you forward, providing you positive momentum, as well as understanding what forces are holding you back. And they can help you identify those forces, such as risks, losses, taxes, fees, inflation that are working against you, and help you better understand those and formulate strategies through having the information and being educated on how you can build more certainty and predictability into your financial future. And if you would like to take them up on the offer for a complimentary financial review, pick up the phone and give them a call now, 800-939-8633. Again, just pick up the phone, take Ralph Grauso and the team from ASC Financial Group up on the offer to have a retirement built to last. 800-939-8633. the number to call. Ralph, time always moves by very quickly here on the program. As it does in life, we've seen that this year has just flown by. It's almost over. We appreciate the time that you spend with us to help make sure that the listeners can make the most out of their decisions today to get the most out of tomorrow. Thank you for being here on Your Game Plan for Retirement.
Great to be here, as always, to let our listeners know from ASC Financial Group. We would like to sincerely put our thoughts out at this time of year to those that are less fortunate than us. And we hope all have a very happy, safe, and healthy new year. And may God bless each and every one of you.
Well, thank you for being here, Ralph. We certainly appreciate that. And folks, if you would like to have a more prosperous new year and every year throughout retirement and have a retirement built to last, give Ralph Grauso and his team from ASC Financial Group a call. 800-939-8633. I know they look forward to hearing from you, and we'll look forward to talking with you next week on Your Game Plan for Retirement.
The content of this radio show is provided for informational purposes only and is not a solicitation or recommendation of any investment strategy. You are encouraged to seek investment, tax, or legal advice from an independent professional advisor. Any investment and/or investment strategies mentioned involve risk, including the possible loss of principal. Advisory services offered through Brookstone Capital Management, a registered investment advisor.
Ed Slott's Elite IRA Advisor Group is solely an indication that the financial advisor has attended training provided by Ed Slott and Company. Past biannual examinations on material covered at conferences conferences and in webinars and met other membership requirements and does not constitute an endorsement of any kind. Ed Slott's Elite IRA Advisor Group members pay a fee for the educational programs that allow them to be included in the Ed Slott's Elite IRA Advisor Group. Membership does not guarantee investment success. Fiduciary duty extends solely to investment advisory advice and does not extend to other activities such as insurance or broker-dealer services. Advisory clients are charged a quarterly fee for assets under management, while insurance products pay a commission, which may result in a conflict of interest regarding compensation.